since I started with photography and later videography, my big dream has always been to be able to travel the world as a job. And I can't lie, in the beginning it all seemed way too hard and almost impossible to achieve. But I have now later found out that it is way more reachable than I thought. So in this video I will go through all the steps I do when I plan my travels and how I'm able to get paid doing it. Before we actually get into it, I just want to mention that this is just one way to do it, and there are certainly way more ways to do so, and probably also way less stressful ways to do so, but this is the way I'm doing at the moment. I'm going to take example in my last trip to the Faroe Islands, as I didn't lose any money going up there, but actually gained a bit of money. Keep in mind that I'm also fairly new to this. So the first thing I did for this trip, and almost all trips now, is to find people who actually want to come along with me. This is nicer to have someone to travel with and share the experience with. I have another video about that if you want to check it out. It's up somewhere here, not quite sure. And luckily this wasn't the hardest thing, because I've already talked to someone on Instagram who wanted to go up there with me, so we quickly arranged that. I usually use Instagram to connect with people and actually arrange trips with if they want to go somewhere I'm going to. There is also tons of other communities now, one of them which is called Film Space. I've talked about it in another video as well, but I also use that sometimes if I don't have anyone to go with and I just want someone to travel with me to certain locations I'm going to. So now we have the team and we also have the location. Now we just need to get some brands on board on the trip. The first thing I will do now is to write an overall pitch that I can send out to the different brands I want to work with. What I usually focus on in my pitch is either the locations you're going to, so what is unique about the locations you're going to, can you implement it into a video or some photos, or how you can benefit the brand you're pitching it to in a way others can. Like, do you have some special skills or do you have some equipment that not everyone else have? When I'm deciding what brands I am pitching the ideas to, I usually look at the locations I'm going to and see what would fit well in the location. So for this example, I reach out to a lot of outdoor brands and a lot of backpack brands, as most of the things you do in the Faroe Islands is hiking and going to like very scenic and untouched raw nature locations. And before you send out the overall pitch you have, I usually personalize them a bit for each brand I'm sending them out to. So I would do a bit of research to the brands that I'm sending them out to see what they're making, what their vision is and what they really focus on. Then I will personalize the pitch that I'm making to the certain brand that I'm sending it out to. In this way, your pitch won't be too generic and the brand will hopefully see that you put some effort into sending out this pitch and actually taking it seriously. And then you just send them out to all the different brands you want to work with. I would say if you are in the beginning of your career, as I am, and you just want to get some jobs and you're not that picky right now because you want something in your portfolio and you also want some money, then I would just send it out to as many brands as possible. Of course, make sure that they fit the location well and you can actually work with the products they sell. Then you will hopefully get some responses back and you will email back and forth or via DM on Instagram or something else with the brand, and then hopefully you can figure something out. As I'm still building up my portfolio and slowly getting into the career as a freelance photographer and videographer, I decided to bring along some products that wasn't paid. And this was solely to get something to my portfolio because I see this as a beneficial thing to have in the future. I worked with 4 different brands on this trip and only one of them was actually paid, but that was also enough to cover all the expenses that I paid up there. So even though I got 3 jobs that wasn't paid, I didn't pay any of my own money on a trip. Everything was covered by the job that actually was paid. Then the last thing you can choose to do if you want to really save money is to look for collaborations with places to stay or even rental cars. And on this trip we did both. So we reached out to a lot of Airbnbs and hotels to see if they wanted to get some photos in exchange for some free stays. And we actually got all 10 days covered in exchange for a video for 2 houses and then some photos of the interior. So you don't even need to have a big following to get these collaborations with Airbnbs or hotels, because you can just offer them something like photos or videos, as we did. The other thing we got established was a rental car, and this was really big on Faroe Islands since it is really hard to get around without a car. So we got a collaboration with a car rental company that we could get the car for 10 days in exchange for a 1-minute video and some reels, which in our opinion is a really good deal since we have a car to get around. Plus it's very nice to have the car video as a portfolio video, and we actually put a lot of work into making it. So this can all seem really stressful as I had 6 different brands and 6 different jobs to work with, plus I want to shoot some personal projects up there. But let's get into how I managed to do that. Now you have arrived at your destination, and depending on how much time you have at the location or the destinations you're going to, I will get started right away. So because I had 6 different projects and my own personal project I wanted to shoot up there, I did a lot of pre-production before going up there. This means I did a lot of planning on which shots I want to get, where I want to go, what kind of brand fits the locations well, what kind of shots we want to get for the car, what kind of shots we want to get in the house, and just all that kind of stuff, which just makes it easier when I'm up there because I don't have to stress too much about which kind of different shots I want to get, what kind of compositions I want to get, what kind of lighting and stuff. It's just going out there, I can pull up my phone where I have all the things written down and I can just get started right away. And then it is just to get the job done. And when I say get the job done, I mean that you have to put all the energy you have into the project so you do the best job you can, because it will always pay off in the long run. Even though you're not getting paid for the job, you have this for your portfolio, or you have a potential future client in the project you're working on. So always do the best you can in every project. And if you have extra time, I would highly recommend using it on a personal project that you want to shoot. And it's a good idea also to plan that beforehand. So I do the same thing as I do with the brands. I do a lot of pre-production in an app called Middlenote, where I do all the shot list or what I want the story to be about. And then you shoot everything up there, and you're probably gonna have a lot of footage when you go back home. I think I had almost 1 terabyte from a 10-day trip to the Faroe Islands, because we just shot so much stuff up there and we have so many different things we needed to shoot. So you get back home and you need to edit all the stuff. So what I would do when I get back home, and I'm doing right now, is I will look at the projects that I have a deadline on. Some of them you have a deadline really soon, and some of them you probably have it in a month or 2. I had one 2 days after I got home, but it was also a job where I didn't have to do that much editing. I just had to send the separate videos out to the client. This means that I prioritize the deadlines that I have first, and then I can prioritize all the other stuff afterwards. So you kind of take them in a chronological order. One thing that I typically do is I would prioritize all my clients' work first, and then I will do my personal project afterwards. So right now I have only imported all the files into the project that I'm going to work on with my personal project, just to organize everything. And then I will focus on creating all the clients' work first, and when I'm done with that, I can focus on my own stuff. And that is pretty much how I plan my trips, how I shoot them, and what I do afterwards. And when you're done with all of this, I will probably start looking into another place I want to go and do it all over again. As I said in the beginning of this video, this is just one way to do it, and this is the way I'm doing it right now, because I want to get as much in my portfolio as possible while I'm able to travel the world. In the future, I will hopefully work with 1 or 2 brands at a time, so it's not as stressful when I go there, and then I will probably prioritize the jobs that pay me better, so I can focus on only 1 or 2 projects at a time. And as I said, there is a lot of other ways to do it. This is just one of them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would appreciate if you would leave a like on the video and consider subscribing to my channel, as it would really help me out a lot. I'll see you next time.